What is good, guys? Coach VC here for the in-depth analysis. Here is how Alcaraz was able to take out Sinner fairly comfortably, going through these specific categories that I made in the post-match analysis. So let's take a look here. So remember these categories that I spoke about, the second serve dynamic, that matchup was won easily by Alcaraz. Here's a batch of points that we're going to see Sinner just not be able to. These are all second serve points. So let's go through these one by one. This is, remember, a second serve. And you can see that return landed smack in the middle, and Sinner is up inside the court. No damage done. Carlos gets to blast the ball, and now that is a win for Alcaraz on those first two ball, that exchange. Great baseline overhead, great bounce overhead. You have to be working on that. That is one. Now here's the second one we're going to take a look at. Again, just another situation here. Another second serve. This time 30-all. He jumps into it, gets a decent crack. You can't be missing those. And even the ones he got big hits on, it wasn't even phasing Alcaraz. Sinner was losing that exchange over and over again. So that's something you have to be very aware of when you're competing. Let's keep it going. Go to the next one. And keep filing more and more. So here we go. We're looking at this one now. Let's see how this goes. I think you're gonna see a common theme here. This is early in the match, 15-all. Is again a second serve, and no, we're not even. It's not even. It made it into the into the stands there. That is no good. The ball made it into the stands. That is a no good. That's no good. You don't want to be dumping that. That's early in the match. That cannot happen. Here we're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep this train working. Here's another one. Here we go. We got another example here. Another second serve is early on in that match, and he's choosing to come up on that baseline. He gets a decent hit, and now he's got to recover back, and he's just getting wrong-footed. This is Alcaraz's, safe second serve, and it looked like Sinner was having trouble catching up to it. Did he hit some good returns? Yes, I do have some, but this just keeps adding up. And if we start looking at how ridiculous this gets, let's go. Here we go. Later in the obviously set point, but still a second serve here, and he's not even. Now maybe that was an angry swing. Maybe give you that. But you can't be doing that. You can't be missing those. That is a big no-no. And when you're competing against, playing for the world number one, these are things that him and his team, you have to be very clear. You have to be very clear with how you want to approach the second serve dynamic here. They've already split. Alcaraz does have the break. And so let's take a look here. And again, oh yeah, this is from earlier, but you can see these are just tame returns that sit in the middle. Let's take a second look at that bounce overhead. You do need to be working bounce overhead. Great slice on that bounce overhead there. So you do want to be working that. Let's keep going. So when you're breaking down footage of your matches, this is how for the pros, and going to, if you're trying to turn the tide on a matchup against a rival, you want to make sure that you are very, very clear how you want to play those second serve points. So here's another second serve. He's deciding he's going to hit the jumper, and again we got that net error, no good. That's not what you want. We have another one here late in that third set. Second serve. And again, just you're coming up to hit kind of pitter-pat returns, and you have to wonder, maybe he's not fully engaged at that point. But here's another one here. Let's take a look. Another second serve. And then this is why the pros don't rush in. Okay? Because when you rush in, things are open. See, Sinner kind of hesitated, but when Alcaraz is hitting, look at that court positioning. You're not doing anything. That's not going to work. It's not going to work in any era, unless Alcaraz is hitting a slice or something. But even then, he might still get past. So these are things that Sinner was not clear with the second serve dynamics. That's why people are saying, oh, it's because Alcaraz was coming in, sneaking in. I've heard some top players even say that. No, it's the second serve dynamic. You have to win that first. The sneak in by Alcaraz, I might go into that, but really that's just a lack of Sinner not coming up with the angle pass. So don't get that confused with anything other than that. And this is why you don't see players coming in, because you're going to get past. And then for anybody that wants to really study the game, look at the run that Alcaraz had. He had to go big crossover step. He had to hit and land on that left, and Sinner not even there. So again, these are things that exist. Here's, I think, one more. Another one for you guys. It took me a little while to do all this, but these are things that you want to be clear of when you're competing in your matches. You want to be crystal clear with how you're going to attack your opponent's second serve. So this is at the end. Sinner seconds at the end. He's serving for the match, and you can see there he actually hit it really well, but nope. That's you can see. Let's really break it down. He got a really good crack on it. Is he wanting it to go a little deeper? Maybe, but this is the negative of when you try to take it early and you do not do enough damage. You can see he's about to hit it. Look at where Sinner is as he's hitting the ball. This is not hard victory here for Alcaraz. So that does that, and that is for you guys why the second serve dynamic is so important. You must win that dynamic. If you don't win that dynamic, it is very hard to win close matches or defeat a rival of yours. So that is one component. We can also look at a couple other things. The return of Alcaraz and what he was able to do. So let's take a look at a few of these. And this is when people have gone in the comments saying you just need to make more first serves to Sinner. All these are first serves. This is Sinner hitting his solid serve, and pay attention to what happens to these solid serves. It gets sent back and he's off his back foot. That's why and he defended poorly, left it back in the middle, so poor backhand defense. And then Sinner might still win this point if he can hit the angle. And you got Alcaraz dipping out of there. That's a pretty good half volley. And this is where, people saying that Alcaraz is sneaking in. Look, that's not going to work. He's lucky the Sinner missed that. But regardless, this is a first serve point. Sinner hitting his solid first serve, and he's still chasing. He hit a very good first serve, and he's still on the back foot. He lost that exchange. Alcaraz won the exchange. So all this serve +1, serve -1, serve ABC. Does your return do damage, and are you on the front foot after your return? Does your second serve do enough damage where you can get on the front foot? That's the exchange. So that was not happening very well for Sinner. Alcaraz gave him a clinic in that. So again, this analysis is just so you see the reason why Sinner's first serve percentage dropped, because his solid first serve was getting handled and put behind him. And if your first serve is getting handled and put behind you, you are now going to either need to serve bigger or closer to the lines, both of which will drop your first serve percentage. So that is what happened. Let's take another look at another one. So we really drive this point home. Let's be very precise with how we do this. All right, so I believe there's another first serve from Sinner. Boom. He actually gets a workable ball, drives it, but at this point he's overplaying, and he really feels the pressure of trying to hit the opening huge. So the Alcaraz defense, and that's about as weak of a reply as he was getting on his first serve. So the overhitting by Sinner directly because of the Alcaraz defense and the return. So these are all components. Let's go to another one here. That's a flat bomb. That is as good as a serve. Sinner hits 123 into the tee. And look at what Sinner has to deal with now. He's having to go off his back foot. And now he's, even though he defended very well, that was great defense by Sinner, Alcaraz is getting to plug in both legs, charge up, and this is where I think he's hitting a huge inside in. Let's see, yeah, that's a pretty good heavy ball. Oh, and then now, Alcaraz's return has pushed back Sinner far enough, and then I think this opens up his angle. This is a cannon angle. This is not like a normal angle. That's a cannon blast. That's what was stressing Sinner. So point being, Sinner's his best first serve. Can he hit it closer to the line? Sure, but he knows that's going to go in. That left Alcaraz unfazed. And now look at Sinner having to run back, scoop that out. Great defense there. But now he's chasing in the point, and Alcaraz has won that exchange. That is why you see the dynamic between these two, the clinic that Alcaraz gave. But I do want to also highlight that there were there's a couple of examples of Sinner overplaying a little bit coming up. This is where Sinner overplayed just a little bit. He felt the pressure. This is when it was close early on. So let's take a look. Overplaying, trying to hit very big second serve, caused the double fault. This was through a critical stretch. And then this next clip as well. Also, here we go. Nice kick out wide for Sinner. Let's see the speed. It says 124. I don't think that was 124. And so they kind of get neutralized, and now he's fully plugged in. He actually won this exchange, Sinner, but he's really feeling the pressure of having to obliterate forehands to get by Alcaraz. So there's a lot of components even during the rally. Those are balls. Also, a side note for anybody is if they can pick up the keen eye here. Alcaraz was doing a very good job defending out of that forehand corner, and he will sometimes leave that inside out blast for Sinner. Sinner has yet to show that he can really hit that off of a solid struck ball by Alcaraz versus someone like Federer with an incredible inside out. That's another minor note. Final thing I'll say for the match analysis, that was the most important thing, is the dynamic of the second serve. Sinner had to overplay the first serve return of Alcaraz, which then dropped the first serve percentage of Sinner. That is what actually happened. And then, but there were, like I said, if I'm Sinner, there is a few things to look at that he did poorly. I might, if y'all want, I can go through the match a little bit more. There was a host of passing shots that Sinner failed on, but there was definitely a few situations like here. The error rate for Sinner, he's in winning position here. He's got to win this exchange. It is 15-30. He wins this point, would make it 30-all. He did actually win that next point, saving a match point. So he would have had another break point opportunity if he can execute this. And you see Alcaraz was leaning the other way, but I don't know why he was trying to hit it so deep cross court. Should just sharply angled that. He's got to be able to be better for him. Again, he's a tennis god and an incredible player. So, but this is a fairly egregious error, and he did miss one earlier as well that we looked at. So those are things that happened. That is the true match analysis. Anybody that says anything else, the Alcaraz tactic of kind of subtly coming in, those are missed opportunities by Sinner to execute the pass. The net rushing, the net rush, or even a staggered net rush or a sneak in can work, but if it becomes any sort of predictable, those guys will pass pretty comfortably. If you need any help breaking down your match footage and making key adjustments to flip the script and pick up wins, click in the link down below. Hopefully that helps. Coach VC is done.